thank you again for tuning in. My name is Shannon. Welcome to anybody who may be new, and thank you for those who are returning. This is our final ruling planets video where I focus on two planets, the Sun and Uranus. But before I even get into any of this astrology stuff, I just desperately want to quickly touch on what we're currently going through. And if you got to see my Neptune video, which of course I'll link in here somewhere as well as in the description box below, you will know that we are currently going through a serious transformation on a global scale when it comes to humanity and how we treat one another and where we're headed in the future. Okay, I am definitely an advocate and strong protector of Black Lives Matter. So we are in serious times right now. It's really crazy, and I'm going to make it a serious and extreme point to bring this up in probably every single video until we begin to start seeing changes for our community. Because whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to accept it or not, if it's not Black people who are being oppressed, it's somebody else. And if you even think for a second that you'll be fine if every single Black person on this planet is erased because of racism, because of police brutality, and all of these other things that were put into the system in order for us to be pushed down, if you think for a second that that's all going to go away if every single Black person were to go away, you are strongly mistaken. Okay? Understand that if it's not us being oppressed, it's somebody else. And if we're gone, you're next. Therefore, I think it's very important that everybody supports everybody. Everybody needs to be supporting the Black community right now, okay? Because we are the bottom of the barrel. And if we're gone, somebody else got to fall down to the bottom of that barrel. Do you understand? So that's all I'm going to say for now. I'm, of course, going to place some links, or going to place some websites right now for you guys to go and donate for this matter and help in any way that you can, in any way, whether you're a rioter, a protester, a poet, an art, whatever you want to do in order to contribute to this dark time right now, in order to bring us into the light, do it. And with all that being said, now let's go into the first ruling planet, the Sun. So the first thing I want you to understand about the Sun is that it represents our ego. You know, like how we always say, what's your sign? We're talking about the Sun sign. And it is the Sun sign because, like I said, it rules our ego. And I think the thing that people make the biggest mistake about the Sun is confusing it with the Moon. People think that as soon as you're born, you just automatically just start becoming your Sun sign, when it really doesn't work that way on a lot of different people's charts. A lot of the times the moon is the driving force. We tend to actually act more like our moon when we're younger versus act like our sun. So what I'm trying to say is that the Sun sign is pretty much what you were trying to learn how to be. It is your basic identity, your basic self-realization, how you identify, and you know this consciously about who you are. But your job here is to show people who you are, and that is through your Sun sign. It is essentially the boss of your chart, and wherever it lies on your chart, whether a house, planet, wherever, it shows where your personality shines, and it also shows where you're headed in life, where you're going. I'm so sorry, I had to move real quick because the sun is just glaring in my face, and I just can't do that without being distracted. Yes, back to the Sun. It is also the giver of life. It is our inner adult that is pretty much censoring our inner child, aka our moon sign. Basically putting ourselves in check. Now, as far as the sign that the Sun rules over, it is, of course, Leo. I don't have, aside from my father, I don't have any strong Leos present in my life, to be completely honest, but I've encountered so many that I know what Leos represent, or I know for a fact when I'm bumping into a Leo, because since they're ruled by the Sun, they are naturally the ones who want the most attention. The Sun is literally beaming in everybody's face. It is there for everyone to see. That is Leo. On the good side, they can be theatrical, entertaining. They can be loyal, super generous to those that they love. That's very, very important for me to mention that, because Leos are not going to be very giving or generous to you if they don't care about you. And that's the truth. I don't care what any of you Leos say. I know my father and I know Leos well enough to know where your generosity lies. And a lot of the times it comes after you being flattered. They are energetic, and I also did just mention how, or did I mention that they were loyal? They are loyal, but it's very important to mention how they are first and foremost loyal to themselves. And I put that in the good because I think it's very important for everybody to remember that the best kind of love is self-love. And that is something that Leos have down packed. You can't tell them a damn thing about themselves. They love themselves, and I respect that. They can be affectionate, ambitious. They can be quick to anger, as all the fire signs can be, but they don't hold grudges. They can forgive pretty easily, and they can be lavish. I put that in the good as well as the bad, because when they're lavish, they are razzle dazzle. They are in your face. It's great, it's fun, it's entertaining, but they can be lavish to the point of their own demise, because if you don't got the money, you probably shouldn't be spending it, and they have a very hard time with that. And on the bad side, okay, which is what I think most people think about when they think about Leos, because people like to assume that somebody is bad because of how self-absorbed they are, and that is on their bad side. They can be extremely self-absorbed. But like I said, I think it's important to know that their strong suit, that they love themselves, but it can quickly turn into narcissism, which is also a bad trait of theirs. I have met some narcissistic Leos, narcissistic Leos, more men versus women. I've never met a Leo woman that was a narcissist, but I have met Leo women who think they're always right, or that ego is always in the way. That's another bad quality of theirs. They can be extremely prideful. Pride is their Achilles heel. If they feel as though they are not receiving the attention that they want, or if they feel like people basically aren't worshiping them as though they are loyalty, because that's literally how they feel when they're born, like they're loyal, like they're royalty. If they feel like people aren't, bowing down to them, then their ego can be really bruised. They can be selfish, which of course, if they can be narcissistic, of course they can be selfish. Narcissists are selfish. And they can be sensitive. I would like to place that within the good as well, because it's great that they can be sensitive, because when they're sensitive, they can easily express themselves with that sensitivity. But with that sensitivity, they can also be just very, very, very cruel, because they're so sensitive. Their sensitivity is more so them being wrapped in themselves. So they can attack and say some hurtful things that they can never take back because of that pride. And that's all I have for the sign of Leo. Now let's go into the planet of Uranus. So the planet of Uranus is the planet of the gods in heaven. And what it represents is our unconventionality. Uranus, whenever I think about this planet, I always think expect the unexpected, because it is a planet of rebellion, revolution, creativity, originality, technology, innovation, discovery, and pretty much all that is progressive. They are the progressive. Like every time I think about I just gave away the sign rules over whatever. Every time I think about a Uranus and I think about Aquarius, I think about legends like Angela Davis and Toni Morrison. That is Aquarius to me. But it's also important to note that Uranus as a planet, when it's not developed, it reacts without a real meaning or purpose. It just wants to be different just to be different. And it's also extremely important to note that just like Neptune and just like Pluto, it is another generational planet. So it affects us all. So all of us millennials, we are all currently being affected by that. Since it's generational, what its purpose is to pretty much stir shit up. It is the one that rebels. So of course it has to stir the pot in order to bring change and innovation. So all in all, wherever Uranus lies on your chart, it shows where your special qualities lie, where your originality shines. Just shows you where your secret genius lies. And the sign that Uranus rules over is Aquarius, which of course I just gave that away a few seconds ago, which really upset me. Like it matters. But yes, Aquarius, another one of my favorite signs, and one that I am very attached to, because yes, I am a Pisces, but something that I also am is a Aquarius Pisces cusp. Yes, I am an astrology person that believes in the cusp, and I am an Aquarius stellium. And what a stellium is when you have more than, I think, three, or I'll say you have three or more planets that are in the same sign. So I have a lot of planets on my chart that are in Aquarius. So it's an ongoing battle for me when I fight. My Aquarian side fights with my Pisces side all day, every day. But it's kind of one and the same. If anything, my Aquariusness brings out the Pisces compassion and the need for change as well. It's one and the same. Only Pisces were more compassionate on the softer side, and Aquarius, they're more the masculine, go for it type when it comes to making the world a better place. So I'll start with the good when it comes to Aquariuses. Aquariuses are first and foremost usually very original. The main thing that I notice off the bat whenever I meet an Aquarius is how intelligent they are. Their intelligence. They, in my personal opinion, because it's always a constant battle about who's the smartest zodiac sign. They're all smart in their own way, but the air signs in particular are pretty much like the geniuses, or like the book geniuses of the zodiac. You know, the water signs are very emotionally intelligent, and air signs are just very book smart. And I would say that Aquarius is the smartest. Real close is Gemini. That's kind of the toss-up on who is the most intellectual, the Gemini or the Aquarius. From my personal experience, I've noticed that Aquarius is, in my opinion. Geminis I would consider being more intelligent if only they knew where to place their intelligence. They're so scattered and all over the place, and so at battle with themselves, the evil fighting the good within them and back and forth, that they're not able to really focus in on the world needing better things. They're too busy questioning the world to make it better. So that's, little tangent, sorry. Aquariuses are intellectually independent. They are witty, wacky, eccentric. They are liberal, progressive, and they tend to be extremely open-minded, which I really, really respect and love. And they can also be friendly, even though they have, not so great traits that make it seem as though they're not. But they are friendly, but they also like to be alone. So let me just move over into the bad, or what people consider bad when it comes to Aquariuses. They can be detached. They can be really fixed on their opinions, almost to their own detriment. They're really intelligent and really progressive, but the problem with them is, like, once they set their mind on something, once they think that they know all when it comes to a topic, there really is no budging them. They're really not so great when it comes to compromise, and this can be such an issue to the point where, let me try to find a way to explain this. Aquariuses don't really like it when you challenge their beliefs or their ideals, because in their minds, their views, which are usually progressive, are the only views that really matter. And if you go against that, then you're just on the bad side. You're the bad guy, pretty much. So the thing with that is the same thing when it comes to Gemini, honestly. When people question or go against what they say, it's like an attack on them. It feels like an attack on them as a person, on their identity. That's how they feel when you question what they have already questioned and analyzed and decided on. And they can also be a little cold. And they also have a superiority complex, I will say that, which doesn't really help with me as a Pisces, knowing that I can be self-righteous. All those qualities come out even stronger because of the Aquarian placements. And I think that's all I have to say about Aquariuses. They also tend to usually be in higher up positions, because it's almost like they're a socialite. They can be a socialite if they wanted to be, like an intelligent one. I always find that they're really great at communication, obviously, because they are an air sign. So it's easy for them to maneuver within different groups and express themselves within those groups. But sometimes that can be bad, because if an Aquarius isn't careful and they get caught up within those groups, it becomes more about them protecting the status quo versus going against it. And now I think I'm done when it comes to talking about Aquariuses. And now we're going to finally focus on the sister sign relationship between Leo and Aquarius. This sister sign comparison is not going to be as long or as thorough as I made some of the others because it's pretty obvious. Like, they are so opposite to me, Aquarius and Leo. I have found like one trait in particular that I think that they share. I'm so sorry that I'm stuttering. There is one trait that I know for a fact that they share, but everything else is just very starkly different, okay? As sister signs, I guess what makes them get along is the fact that they're both very ambitious. They're both very creative when the time comes, and they both like a lot of attention. I'm sorry, like, I just have to put that out there, okay? Yes, Aquariuses like to be alone. Yes, they tend to be loners. Yes, they march to the beat of their own drum, blah, blah, blah. But deep down inside lies somebody who actually does care what people think about them because they're so different. They know they're different. From very young children, Aquariuses know that they're different. And even though there's always this need to go against the status quo or go against what society is always saying, there's always a little bit of fear in the back of their mind that they're being judged. I think one of their biggest fears is that they're never going to find people or someone who's going to love them wholly as who they are. And they share that with Leos. Leos and Aquariuses love attention, okay? Like, they love attention because a little part of them wants that validation. So it's not just Leo. The only difference is that Leos, they almost like demand it. They walk into the room and they expect flowers. They expect you to like kiss their feet. Whereas Aquarius, they're super subtle about it. They know that they stand out. They know that they get attention because they're different. They're original. So both of their efforts at getting attention can be, you know, on the effortless side. But Leo definitely tries a little bit harder than Aquarius. And as far as their differences go, Leo was all about the self for the most part, and Aquarius is all about the people, all about all of us coming together. But I guess within that, a little similarity that I see that Aquarius has with Leo is that Aquarius wants to be the leader. They want to be the one directing. They want to be the one telling people how to make our world a better place. Because, like I said, they're fixed, just like Leo. And they think that their way is the only way for the most part. Because they're like, I'm the smartest, or I'm the best, or look at me, I was meant to be a leader. But they share that quality, both of them. But, like I said, Aquarius, they're more about the universe, they're more about the society as a whole perspective, and Leo is all about the self. And I think that's all that I have to say. That was really, really short. Probably because of everything that's going on, to be completely honest. I wanted to be very, very concise this time, and wanted to draw my attention primarily on what's going on in the world right now. But regardless of all that, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you all stay blessed and look out for one another, seriously. Especially my black and brown people, you know, we gotta look out for each other. And please choose love over hate. I promise you, every single day I wake up and I'm just like, do Nazi guys ever wake up and think to themselves, are we the bad guys? Like, are we the ones causing all of this? I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. We are finally going to tackle more within our birth chart, starting all fresh and new. So see you in my next video, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.